I never thought I'd be the guy sitting here, writing out a story like this, but here we are. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 3 years. We met in college, hit it off right away, and everyone thought we were perfect for each other. She was smart, charming, maybe a little bitchy at times, but I loved her. We got engaged last year, planning to get married in a few months. Honestly, I thought I knew everything about her, or at least I thought I did. Turns out I was dead wrong. At the beginning, everything seemed fine. We had our usual fights, nothing out of the ordinary. Lisa could be a real pain sometimes. She was bossy, sarcastic, and liked to think she knew best about everything. But we had good days too, and I genuinely believed we were building a future. That is, until little things started changing. Small things at first. She was more defensive when I asked about her phone. She'd get tense and change the subject when I tried to ask her about her day. She'd also start working late more often, claiming it was just work stuff. But I could tell she was hiding something. Then there were the texts. I'd find her phone open on the counter with messages from her boss, Jonathan. Nothing too explicit at first, just the usual flirty banter, little innuendos, that kind of thing. I brushed it off, told myself I was just overthinking. But then I noticed the way her eyes lit up when she talked about him, like she was already imagining a different life, one where she was with this Jonathan guy instead of me. Still, I kept quiet, thinking maybe I was just paranoid. I mean, how could I be so insecure? But the gut feeling kept gnawing at me. One night I decided to do a little digging. I was tired of feeling like I was in the dark. I went through her phone while she was asleep. I found enough to make my stomach turn. Hundreds of texts, flirty, suggestive, downright explicit. She told him she loved the way he touched her, that she could never forget their nights together. I found pictures she sent him, and I swear, I almost threw up. It was like she was trying to erase the fact that we were supposed to be getting married soon. She was lying about everything, and I'd been blind to it all. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I was about to marry, was cheating on me with her boss. It hit me like a train, and I just sat there in the dark, my mind racing, trying to process what I'd just uncovered. After I found those texts and pictures, I couldn't sleep. My mind kept spinning, trying to piece everything together. I kept asking myself, how long has this been going on? Was it just a one-time thing, or had she been sneaking around behind my back for months? The anger started to boil over, but beneath that, there was this deep hurt, like I'd been punched in the gut, and I couldn't catch my breath. The next morning, I knew I had to confront her. I didn't want to, but I couldn't keep pretending I didn't know what was happening. I made my way into the living room, heart pounding, and saw her sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone like nothing was wrong. When I showed her the messages, her face twisted into this fake, shocked look. She sat there pretending to be innocent, and then in that typical bitchy way she had, she started to lie right to my face. "Oh, come on, Mike," she said, rolling her eyes. "It's just a stupid flirtation. It didn't mean anything. It's not like we're actually doing anything. Jonathan's just a friend, you know that. It's not like I'm cheating on you." Her voice was all sass and defiance, like she was daring me to call her out on her bullshit. But I wasn't falling for it anymore. I just stared at her, feeling the rage bubbling up. I could see through her act. I knew she was lying, and I knew she'd been lying to me for months. I asked her flat out, "Did you sleep with him? Be honest." Her smirk only got bigger. "Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Who cares? It's just sex. You're overreacting." That was her favorite line. She always made it sound like I was overreacting, like I was just insecure and jealous. But I was. I was hurt, betrayed, and so damn angry I could hardly see straight. How could she do this? How could she lie to my face about everything she told me? About how much she loved me, about how loyal she was. It felt like my entire world was crashing down, and I didn't even know who she was anymore. After her dismissive attitude and her "it's just sex" comment, I felt like I was losing my mind. The betrayal cut so deep I couldn't even process it all at once. I wanted to scream, I wanted to cry, but mostly I just wanted her to admit it, to tell me the truth straight out. Instead, she kept defending herself, throwing out more lies, calling me insecure and jealous. She said I was overreacting, that I was making a mountain out of a molehill, and that I should just drop it. That's when I realized that she was good at lying, real good, and that she thought she could get away with anything. I decided I couldn't just let this go. I couldn't pretend everything was okay. I told her I needed some time to think and left the room. I went to the garage and slammed the door, trying to breathe and collect my thoughts. I felt so numb, but at the same time the rage was building up inside me. How dare she treat me like this? How dare she lie about something so huge? I kept replaying everything I'd seen, every sign I ignored, every excuse I made for her. I felt stupid for trusting her, and more than anything, I felt betrayed. That night I couldn't sleep. I stayed up, staring at the ceiling, feeling a mix of heartbreak and fury. I kept thinking about all the promises she made, all the I love yous, and how they'd been nothing but lies. I wondered if she ever truly loved me or if I was just convenient for her. I wondered how many times she'd been with him, if she'd ever truly cared about me or if I was just some backup plan. The emotional pain was overwhelming. I started questioning everything. The genuine connection I thought we had, the future I'd envisioned, even myself. I was devastated, confused, and honestly, ready to give up on everything I'd built with her. The days that followed were a blur of sleepless nights and endless thoughts. I couldn't escape the feeling that I'd been living a lie, that everything I believed about Lisa was a facade she carefully maintained. I started noticing all the little things, the way she suddenly became more distant, her quick temper when I brought up her work hours, her defensive attitude whenever I asked about her plans. She was trying to cover her tracks, I could tell, but I wasn't going to let her manipulate me anymore. I decided I needed a plan. I couldn't just confront her and hope she'd admit everything. No, I had to be smarter. I needed undeniable proof, something that would make her realize I was serious about finding out the truth. So I started to dig deeper. I checked her emails, her social media accounts, anything that could give me more insight. And what I found was even worse than I expected. There were more messages, more pictures, and even plans for her to meet Jonathan again. She was actively sneaking around behind my back, and it was clear she had no intention of stopping. Meanwhile, Lisa kept up her act, throwing tantrums about how I was crazy and paranoid, insisting I was overreacting to nothing. She called me insecure, her favorite go-to, trying to make me feel like I was the one with the problem, but I knew better now. I knew she was the one with the problem. She was the one lying and cheating and betraying the vows we made. I realized I couldn't stay in this toxic mess. I had to get out, but I didn't want to just walk away without making her pay for what she'd done. I wanted her to feel the way I did, utterly betrayed, humiliated, and powerless. So I started planning my revenge. Not a petty one, but something that would hit her where it hurt. I wanted her to see that I wasn't some fool she could keep lying to. I wanted her to understand that I knew everything, that I was done playing her game. I wasn't just going to confront her anymore. I was going to make her regret ever crossing me. The feeling of betrayal was too raw, and I knew that if I didn't do something drastic, I'd be haunted by this for the rest of my life. I had to take control, and I was determined to do it on my own terms. Over the next few days, I put my plan into motion. I knew I had to be careful. This wasn't something I could rush or do impulsively. I wanted her to realize I was serious, that I had the upper hand, and that she couldn't keep fooling around with her boss or anyone else without consequences. I started by gathering all the evidence I could, screenshots, saved messages, and even photos I secretly took when she wasn't paying attention. I didn't want her to know I was onto her until I was ready. Then, I decided to set a trap. I arranged for someone I knew to be in contact with Jonathan, to subtly let him know that I was onto him. I wanted him to feel the heat, to get nervous, to realize there was no hiding from what was happening. Meanwhile, I kept up the appearance of being the understanding husband, for the most part. I still pretended everything was fine, but inside I was seething. I wanted her to see that her lies couldn't hold up forever, and that I was prepared to fight back. One night I told her I needed to talk seriously. I sat her down in the living room, looked her straight in the eyes, and told her that I knew everything. I laid out the evidence, watching her face twist with guilt and anger. She tried her usual denials, but I cut her off. I told her I was done with her bullshit, that I knew she'd been cheating on me with her boss, Jonathan. Her reaction was priceless. Her eyes widened, and for a second she looked afraid. She threw a fit, calling me crazy, screaming that I was ruining her reputation, that it was all just a misunderstanding, but I wasn't buying her act anymore. She finally broke down, her bitchy facade cracking just enough for her to admit that she'd slept with him right before our wedding. She said it was just a one-time thing, that she was sorry but couldn't help herself. Sorry. Sorry didn't even begin to cover it. At that moment, I felt a mixture of rage and heartbreak I never knew I could experience. It was like my whole world was collapsing, and I was just standing there, broken and furious at the same time. I realized that my revenge was only just beginning, and that she'd have to live with her lies and betrayal. I wasn't going to let her forget that anytime soon. After that night, everything changed. I knew I couldn't stay with her, not after she'd shattered my trust so completely. We had a long, brutal conversation, and she doubled down on her lies, trying to manipulate me, insisting she was innocent, that I was overreacting. But I saw through her. Nothing she said could change what I knew. The truth was out, and her facade was ruined. I told her I was leaving, that I couldn't be with someone who lied to me so blatantly, who betrayed everything we had. The aftermath was a whirlwind. She kept begging, crying, throwing a tantrum about how I was ruining her life, how unfair it all was. But I couldn't listen anymore. I packed my things, left that house behind, and started over. The pain was deep, but there was a strange sense of relief too. I finally saw her for who she really was, and I realized that I deserved better than someone who could lie, cheat, and manipulate like she did. In the end, I learned a lot about trust, betrayal, and myself. I learned that sometimes the greatest act of love is knowing when to walk away. I also learned that some people will lie and cheat no matter what you do. So the best thing you can do is protect yourself and never let someone take away your self-respect. Looking back, I wish I could say I moved on quickly, but that's not how it works. It's been a tough road, but I'm slowly rebuilding my life. I've started therapy, focused on myself, and let go of the anger that once consumed me. I still wonder why she did it, why she lied and cheated, but I know one thing for sure: trust is earned, and I'll never make that mistake again. If I could give anyone advice from this mess, it's this: don't ignore the signs, and don't stay in a relationship where your partner is lying and cheating. Trust your gut, and don't be afraid to walk away if it's the right thing. Because at the end of the day, your happiness and self-respect matter more than anyone's lies.